somewhere else.
Those Muhammadans are at it again. Apparently they're still pissed off about the knighthood of Salman Rushdie a whole month ago.
I mean, don't those guys have, like, anything to do?
Apparently they just sit around thinking about what's a threat to Islam. And Al-Qaeda's #2 man, Ayman al-Zawahiri, has warned Britain in a 20-minute tape message that because of the knighthood, he said that a very precise response was planned for England.
Now remember, these are from the same guys that thought, you know, filling a car with canisters of gasoline and nails was a calculated attack. But regardless, what we have here is just another, you know, textbook case of penis envy. These guys are irritated with Salman Rushdie because he managed to refute their entire religion in what is a work of fiction.
Right, and he did, you know, a really good job, and he didn't even need to go to that length. I mean, he could have just, you know, photocopied his probably uncircumcised Arabian member and just sent that out.
I mean, really, he could have just taken the entire text of the Quran, photocopied that, you know, put it out as a work of fiction, you know, maybe titled it some bullshit, and people would read it and be like, wow, this is almost as stupid as the fucking Bible.
Almost. In other news from somewhere else, an Indian minister has proposed that all pregnant women register their pregnancies and seek permission for abortion. Now, they aren't seeking permission because they think, you know, abortion is wrong, but because sex determination is a big problem. What happens is people have planned children and they will abort girls only and only have boys because in society boys are worth more. It can make the family more money.
I mean, we've said it before. The less clitorises there are in the world, you know, like, you know, the less good shit there is in the world.
You can judge the human development by how many clitorises are on the general area.
However, even still, I say, you know, go big or go home to these guys. I mean, I think these guys will notice, you know, the error of their ways, you know, by the time, you know, 20 years down the road, India is just a humongous fucking sausage party.
Yeah, just one big peninsula, just, you know, the flag's replaced with a rainbow. I mean, all the mosques are just replaced with bathhouses, you know?
With, like, little glory holes cut in them. I mean, all I can tell you is, like, 25 years from now, if you guys are planning to travel to the Indian subcontinent and you plan to go bathe in the river Ganges, do not drop the soap.
To us, the American dream is nothing. To us, the American dream is nothing.
Earlier this week, anonymous threats were sent to the evolutionary biology labs and the Chancellor and Vice Chancellor of Undergraduate Education at the University of Colorado at Boulder. Workers in the science lab also found threatening messages slipped under their doors. This person has finally been identified as a man named Michael Korn. Among other things, he compared evolutionary biologists to child molesters for their support of evolution, and threatened to kill enemies of a Christian society. Now, this man had harassed people before, and he'd handed out pamphlets and other such things, but he never actually threatened anybody until earlier this week.
Now, I mean, chances are this guy is just a nutbar, and this is an isolated incident, you know, and this guy poses no real harm to society other than, you know, the great amount of discomfort that his presence probably induces. However, this story, especially with his discussion of killing the enemies of a Christian society, brings to mind an idea I've been sitting on for a while, which is that I think a lot of Christians miss the good old days. You know, the real good old days. You know, because, you know, right now, me and Kobe are sitting here, you know, bold as brass. As godless as the day is long. You know, we're spiteful, you know, make fun of people, we induce hate, fear, and loathing, and we don't even give a fuck about it. You know? And if all of you died right now, we wouldn't care. And guess what? At a time in history, we could be killed for doing this. And I bet a lot of people miss that opportunity. It's like the golden years are sort of passing by. In the good old days, they could fucking, you know, throw us in vats of boiling oil. They could just fucking chop off our private parts and feed them to us. You know, they could, you know, nail us to like little boards, you know, and try to roll us down a hill and have a contest to see who got the farthest. You know? And people miss things like that. They miss when things were simple. And when no one questioned their beliefs. And now that people question their beliefs, they see how increasingly silly they become when juxtaposed next to almost anything else. And they hate us for it. Fuck God.
You can't believe the hype, and no one loves you for these 10,000 lies. I hope to realize one truth.
An economics professor at the University of Rochester says that if people were a little more sexually promiscuous, we could slow the spread of AIDS. In his book, More Sex is Safer Sex, which is something I've said on a number of occasions, he proposes that 75% of us are, you know, prudes, but we have less than 3 sexual partners in a year. The other 25% have 10 to 30 partners. Now, obviously, they have the highest chance of contracting AIDS. So, if the people who are a little conservative stepped it up, you know, 2 or 3 partners, they'd have more chance of hooking up with each other and less chance of hooking up with the people, you know, who are very promiscuous and have a higher chance of contracting AIDS. That way, we would slow the spread of AIDS a little bit.
I mean, they could work, but I suspect an ulterior motive. Just a teensy one. I think this book could have also been titled, My Marriage is Getting Really, Really Stale.
Yeah. I would title it, Come on, girl. Can't hold Kobe down. I do what I do. I go where I go. You can't keep me captive. You don't own, what I got. It's mine. Not, you don't, I'm held down. I'm held down. I need to be free.
Hell yeah!
This hell yeah is an update. Larry Flynt, a few weeks ago, offered the $1 million offer for proof of extramarital sex with a politician.
Hell yeah!
Now, it has led to exposing Senator David Vitter of Virginia for using prostitutes.
Hell yeah!
And Larry Flynt, claims that he has 20 investigations in the works with very promising leads.
Hell yeah!
Now, he said that he doesn't care what anybody does behind closed doors, as long as they don't speak against it in public.
Hell yeah.
The Rundown.
A random stranger is leaving envelopes of 10,000 yen in men's bathrooms across the country in Japan. Vladimir Putin has suspended the application of a key Cold War arms treaty. North Korea closes its nuclear reactor. A Starbucks in historic Beijing is forcibly closed by protesters. Scientists have discovered a protein which may reverse the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Sudan resumes a bombing in Darfur. Police in Nigeria stop a hunger awareness protest. Soon after England's ban, a similar ban of smoking is enacted in Nairobi, Kenya. U.S. Senate doubles a bounty on bin Laden. Louisiana becomes the last U.S. state to ban cockfighting. Media tycoon Conrad...
30.
Guess we'll never know.
The New Low News Show is now accepting donations through PayPal. If you donate more than $10, you will get a special gift, also known as a t-shirt, that says The New Low. Badass logo, you will get it guaranteed. The other thing, spam everywhere on the net you go, because this shit's growing big. And we're going to have a podcast soon, so it can be downloaded right to your gay-ass MP3 player.